Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about one tricks in Dead by Daylight. What we have them, what are the overall issues with them, and hopefully how we can sort of fix it. Do not mind like the popping sounds going off in the background. People are setting off fireworks, 4th of July and all that, so if you hear any popping sounds, just ignore that. Anyways, as I was saying, basically, we're going to be talking about one-trick characters. Now, what is a one-trick character? A one-trick character is basically a character that is good at one thing and one thing only. So take someone like Trapper for example. He's all about setting bear traps. You place the bear trap down, boom, they get trapped, and boom, done. Very simple. Now what are the benefits of one-trick characters? Well, they are easier to pick up and play, since there isn't a whole lot you need to understand, since they do the one thing. So if you do the one thing right, then you basically are good to go. Whereas with like these multifaceted characters with all these different things like that you need to manage, it just makes it harder for you to learn. That's basically one of the benefits of one-trick characters, is that they're easier to understand. They are also much easier to fall in love with, since if you like the specific playstyle, then dedicated characters for that are going to be very appealing to you. Anyways, so that's why one-trick characters exist. Now, what is the problem with one trick? This will mainly come down to one simple thing. While being good at one thing is their greatest strength, it can also be their greatest weakness. Since they can only do that one thing, if that one thing doesn't work, then the whole character just simply falls apart. Or if they're one thing they're good at isn't particularly very useful. There's like two characters I'm referring to in specific. Legion and Ghostface. Blight is like probably the biggest beneficiary of being a one-trick, since he's a one-trick in something that's actually very useful, which is movement. Being able to move around the map is like very important and all that. But like, I wanted to talk about Legion and Ghostface in specific. This originally was going to be a Legion specific video, but I never sat back and realized this is not really much of an issue with Legion, but more of like the issue of one-tricks in general, as some killers, like Ghostface, also suffer from similar issues. So I'm just going to talk about Legion mostly, and maybe dip into like someone like Ghostface. For Legion, why is Legion bad? We got every single recently we got every single stat on him buffed, and yet still somehow he's weak, even though that worked with someone like Nemesis. Well, how is that possible? Well, let's look at other characters that do a similar thing, that fill the similar niche. For example, we got Plague. Okay, she has a projectile. She's a projectile-based killer that is able to infect people and make them permanent injured. And they're very good at making survivors injured and keeping them injured, just like Legion. Except she has the Corrupt Purge that allows her to down survivors and be able to apply pressure that way. Now let's look at someone like Kaneki. He is good at injuring people, but he also has insane movement that allows him to be able to zip across the map and be able to pressure survivors much easier. Hell, let's even look at 2v8 and Legion. And he's good at he applies the pressure through injures, but then he also has a teammates to come and down people. And the common denominator between all of them is that all three of these have ways of capitalizing off of their injure pressure. Legion does not. Legion's power starts and ends with injuring people. Whereas with someone like Plague or Kaneki, they at least have something that could allow them to capitalize on the pressure they built through injury. The power doesn't stop with them or with the survivor being injured. Kaneki has insane movement. And Plague has Corrupt Purge. Legion doesn't have that. If everyone's injured, he's just a normal M1 killer, except with someone with Kaneki or Plague, they at least have a facet of that power. Once everyone's injured, they at least still have something. Legion does not. Which is why, no matter how much they buff up the numbers, it's never going to be enough, because he still has no way of capitalizing off of the pressure that he builds. It just ends. Now let's look at someone like Ghostface. He's all about stealth. The problem is that once his stealth stops working, you don't have anything to fall back on. You have nothing. And that's kind of just the main problem with one trick. Is if the one thing you do doesn't work, then you're pretty much it's pretty much game over for you. And that's the primary fault. And the thing is that you can't, with some of these characters like Ghostface, you can't really change that without changing their identity as a killer. Like, Ghostface is all about being stealthy. You can't really just slap on a chase power, because otherwise it wouldn't really be Ghostface anymore. Legion, I could argue you could give him something to capitalize on the pressure. But with like someone like Ghostface or Deathslinger, for example, you can't really do that. Because it'll just diminish their identity. So what can we do about this problem? Obviously, this is going to be different on a case-by-case basis. With some killers, like Ghostface or Trapper, with that, there's not really much you can do about it, because, like, what can you do with them? You can't give them a chase power, otherwise that dilutes their power. You can't buff up their numbers even more, because they're already really good at that thing, and that's not where they're struggling. Like, Ghostface doesn't struggle with sneaking up on people. Ghostface struggles when That's not an option. Same thing with Trapper. Trapper doesn't struggle with the traps not working. Trapper struggles when the traps no longer become a viable option. And the problem is, you can't really change that without changing the character fundamentally. But I honestly don't think this is a problem that really can be solved, but I feel like it's something worth talking about because it's, one, it's an interesting topic, and two, I've been struggling to find new things to, you know, talk about or make videos on. So I just have this. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care, everyone.